Welcome back to another Excel tutorial. Today I want to explore how to use the RANDARRAY function. The RANDARRAY function allows users to create arrays of random numbers without requiring repetitive cell formulas. This function is particularly useful for statistical analysis, simulations, and scenarios where randomization is needed. The RANDARRAY function belongs to the group of dynamic array functions within Excel and returns an array of random numbers between 0 and 1 by default. The syntax starts by RANDARRAY, then you define the number of rows and columns that you want to have in your array, then you define a min and max number. So if you don't define min and max, you'll get 0 for min and 1 for max, but you could write in everything that you want for min and max. And then last but not least, you define if you want to have an integer or decimal value. So rows and columns specify the size of the array, min and max set the range for random numbers, and integer specifies whether numbers are integers or not. So I would say we just start by an example, and the RANDARRAY function is really pretty simple. So we just type in RANDARRAY, open parentheses, and then we can create an array of 5 by 5 with a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value of 10. And then we can say we want decimal values, then we have to type in false, and if we want integer values, we type in true. So I go with integer values for now. We hit enter, and as you can see, we'll get an array of 5 by 5, so 5 columns, 5 rows, and all the values inside this array lie between 0 and 10. And if I now change anything, for example, if I do a sum of those values and I hit enter again, those values change again, because like I said, it's a dynamic array, and the values will always change as soon as you hit enter anywhere in the worksheet. So but where can we use the RANDARRAY function in another, maybe a bit more realistic way? So let's say we have our total sales, our sum of sales, and now we want to invest our sales and we want to go through different scenarios. We have like a share of company, and we think that it could go up by 5%, but it could also go down by 5. And we just want to have a look at the different scenarios where we would stay if the scenario happens. So we just start by RANDARRAY again. We say on 1 row, and let's say 10 columns, our min is minus 5%. This is the worst scenario, and the top scenario would be 5% on our investment. And then we say now we want decimal values, close parentheses, we hit enter. Okay, we of course want 10 rows and 1 column, makes it a bit easier, like that. Okay, now we can format those values by clicking on the percentage sign right there, and then we want to see the decimal values, and now we can say equals our percentage, which is randomly created, times our sum of sales. Hit enter. We can now drag this formula down, and what we can see right now is if we invest our total sales and we get 2.53%, then we'll make a profit of a bit over $100. And else here are a lot of negative scenarios. So for all of those, we would get a negative, so we'll get a loss. But if I hit enter, or if we change anything there and hit enter again, you can see it for example, 0.28%, we'll get $11. For 3.65, we come close to $150, and so on. And this is just one scenario how you could use the RANDARRAY function in a more realistic scenario. And you can of course increase the number of rows by just type in, for example, 100, and then you could drag this formula down as well, and then you'll get like way more results, and you could calculate the possible outcome of your investment for a lot more possible scenarios. And yeah, this is basically how the RANDARRAY function works. I hope you liked this video. If you like it, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and see you in the next video.